Welcome back. Tributes continue to pour in this evening for Minister in the Presidency Jackson Mthembu. He passed away earlier today from a COVID-19 related illness. ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile joins us now to pay tribute to Mr. Mthembu. Mr. Mashatile, thank you so much for your time on ENCA this evening. Condolences to you as Jackson Mthembu's comrades, as Jackson Mthembu's colleagues, his family. How are you reflecting on his life this evening?
Well, Clement, firstly, let me convey our sincere condolences to his wife, his children, and his family and relatives. May his soul rest in eternal peace. It's a devastating day for us. I was in a meeting, I think it was around 2 o'clock, when I got a consistent call from one of my advisors. And they knew that I'm in a meeting, chairing a meeting. So I answered the call, and he says, "You must call the president immediately." So I said, "Like now?" He said, "You must leave what you are doing. Whatever you are doing, just stop and call him." And I thought there must be something wrong. And indeed, ultimately, I got hold of the president, and he said, Comrade Jackson has left us. I had no words. I was like just stunned, and I was like devastated. And reflecting on the life of Comrade Jackson is going to be a long story. I mean, when I reflected back this afternoon, I realized that I've worked with Comrade Jackson for more than 32 years. When we were still young, and I remember, he was 3 years older than me. But in 1989, when I came out of prison, when I was elected General Secretary of the UDF Southern Transvaal, Jackson was elected as the Assistant Secretary. So we started working together there. He was older than me, but he treated me with a lot of respect as we were doing this work. And knowing Comrade Jackson, to him, I was always, my brother. Yeah. Forward. And I think we did a lot of good work during those days. If I look back at our work in the UDF, and ultimately in the dawn of democracy, I had to go back to Mpumalanga. But when he was in Gauteng, I actually got him to come and stay in Alex. Yeah. There was a time when Comrade Jackson had an apartment in Hillbrow. Yeah. So I convinced him to come and stay in Alex. And it was a really good period. We did good work in the UDF. And as I said, until he had to go back to Mpumalanga after the unbanning, got involved in ANC activities. Yeah. And a very solid leader, and very honest. Comrade Jackson was not someone who get involved in factions.
And he called a spade a spade.
He was always focused on the ANC.
Yeah, he called a spade a spade. I mean, when you talk about honesty, when he was spokesperson, when he was chief whip, even when he started serving in cabinet, he was always honest. And even in his assessment of the African National Congress, he wasn't shy to give you a frank assessment of the organization. I mean, at one point, he wasn't happy about the state of the party, the state of the leadership, calling on the former President Jacob Zuma to step aside. So there's no doubt of his dedication for this movement.
No, indeed. Indeed, that's Comrade Jackson for you. He would call a spade a spade. If you think this decision is correct for the organization, he would not hesitate to commit himself in that direction. You could rely on him anytime. There was no time I doubted that if I talk to Comrade Jackson about this particular matter, if it's in the interest of the organization, Jackson will be with you all the way. And that's the caliber of the leader we had in him, and during his time as Chief Whip, we know that he really managed that environment very well. It was not easy. As you yourself indicate, there was a time when there were difficult issues around President Zuma, but Comrade Jackson managed that environment with dignity, pulling comrades together and making sure that the organization is focused and we are moving in the right direction. So really, he was a man that was selfless, so to speak. Putting the interest of people first.
TG, thank you so much for making time on ENCA this evening to pay tribute to Jackson Mthembu. That's the Treasurer General of the ANC, Paul Mashatile.